Started. Yeah, good evening all. I hope you had a great weekend. Yeah, this session we talk about the market analysis for upcoming week, and it's a very important week as well for because most companies are publishing their earnings this week, and we have great earnings coming up. I'll mute all if anybody has any questions and can ask questions. Okay. Yeah, this week we have Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Intel, Qualcomm, Shopify, HC, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Chipotle, Visa, MasterCard, ExxonMobil, Chevron, UPS, Boeing, and General Electric, Ford, GM, Pfizer, Merck, Southwest Airlines, and Procter and Gamble. So first thing we'll take a look. Like, okay, on this Monday, these are the companies we have in general. Let me take only the. If you want to know some of these earnings candle, there's a earnings whisper. Earnings whisper typically they post the important earnings expectations. I'll just say just okay. So we can just get started here. For Monday, we have Infosys just before the open. I'm not really worried about some of these companies, but eventually I expect have a little bit positive earnings in the beginning of the week. So I hope there's no real big upset at the earnings, and the not for me. Because basically with the options, I'm looking at some of the important earnings. So one important earnings I look at is Logitech. Logitech is also doing pretty good overall. Okay, but if you look at the chart, it is a complete a mess for the stock, right? This was around running on 124, and now all the way to 48 to 54. Okay, so what's the forecast on these stocks? So right now, if you look, the stock is already bottomed out at 49, and I'm trying to break out, and there was the failed breakout on the Friday, and eventually if we call as a bullish, it had to start breaking above these levels, but overall, but still it is trying on a Bollinger Band from last week 711 to 718.25. It started breaking out right here, so I expect a good bounce to the upside as long as the market outlook is good. So again, we got to hear it from CEO that what is the next status on these stocks. So I'm bullish on this stock. I expect the stock to perform better on the Logitech because it has been hammered very badly. I expect to gap up uh, the good price. So okay, now so what is the current resistance it has to break out? I call it as okay, the stock is actually, so right now it is stopped at 57. It has to stop breaking above 57 to call it as okay, the stock is actually breaking out. And the next resistance is around Grimaldi. 57, I expect to gap up all the way to 61. And eventually, if it gap up after the good earnings, it will start performing better for Logitech. And if you look at the numbers, okay. So overall technicals, it is having the double bottom, and eventually it is actually picking up to spike up. So on 6 months, it has been in a proper descending chart. It's trying to consolidate right here. It is looking for a breakup. So overall, it never ever did not miss any of the earnings. It beat from last 4 quarter. We expected to perform higher as well, even now. Okay, so that's what some of these I expect. It last 4 earnings, it really beat, and eventually it is trying to cap up. And the technicals also, if you look from last 5 days, it is trying to somebody loaded big year 52 to 54, and now back to 54. It all the way went all the way to 57 and up. So I expect good. If you are sometimes I also look at the research reports and see what's happening with some of these on Yahoo Finance, and some of these reports are really looking. Okay, let's see. There's no report for this so far, but overall, people analyst price targets. You can take a look to just to see what's the average price targets. Okay, it is right now the current rating is somewhere close to 2 to 3, 2.3. Yeah, so the trend is it all depends on the historic, I mean the financials, what how it is actually going to uh, post their earnings, what is their expectation and all that. So if you wanted to know the cash flows, how the cash flows, you can take a look at the cash flows. This is annual, and you want to take a look at quarterly too. What is the cash flow so far, end-to-end cash position. Take a look some of these, it will give you good insight for your own research and analysis. Okay, so and also there is another place also take a look at. Okay, what overall the actual institutes are holding this stock. Okay, so I see the biggest portion is held by Credit Suisse, Capital World, Vanguard, and they loaded sometime around March 30, and they're still holding it. Mm. Okay, let's take a look at the next stocks, which I am trying to see. Logitech, I'm bullish, and also take a look at, I would say, Infosys. If anybody wants to know about Infosys, this stock is also high. I really like it. Infosys is also like bottomed out, and it was at 25, and now it is bottomed out. See this, the entire chart setup. The couple of things I added here. I wanted to introduce what does this chart setup includes. One is it is a 20 simple moving average, and also I have a 200 simple moving average. Also I have a 50 simple moving average. 20, 50, 200 simple moving average. Also a Bollinger Band, the standard Bollinger Band, and 5 EMA, and also I have an Ishimoku cloud, and also I have a custom earnings um, date as well here. So here it is going to be today's especially earnings, and I expect an earning. Um, yeah, this is before market Monday, right? Or after market. This is before market. I expect to have a nice cap up. So watch out this stock as well. I really like tech, and also first thing is especially for recession, the tech consulting companies are the first to check out, because whether what is their forecast, whether they are trying to hire more people, or they're trying to do a freeze, or whether they plan to uh, you know chuck people out and the employees, and I mean I had any layoffs. So that's the thing. So right now I'm looking at this stock has been consolidating at right here. I'm expecting some good okay, on a weekly, if you see, this stock is just trying to okay, so this is just consolidating at the, so as long as it break above this level $19, then I see that there is an upward coming, and if it breaks down $17, you can just load some more puts, and this stock this is actually before pandemic it was a $6 stock, right, around $11 stock, and some of these can give you good insight for your trading. So yeah, I'll move on to other stuff which had okay, we covered Logitech. If there is anything that you wanted to know, let me know. I'll try to cover that as well. So UPS is pretty solid, and then it is trying to stay very close to its high. And if you're looking at the weekly chart, it is pretty solid and staying very close to its high. Uh, so far on a daily chart, this stock is trying to consolidate. So this clearly shows that this is consolidated from anything from this chart 166 to 188. I expect to gap up. So this is trying to break this one. You
And
can this is the Bollinger Band, and is trying to break out. And so mm, with if there is another pandemic with people talking about monkeypox, but eventually it is actually it can break out. So I expect UPS also to break above, and there's a strong resistance right here. Once it can break out 188, 190, 194, it is having a very huge potential to gap up all the way to 223. um, and well, this so let's take a look at what is happening with the UPS.
so, what does that Ishimoku cloud tell us? Like, what does this red and green?
Okay, so when you see a red cloud, which means that there is a solid uh, bearish future. Okay, when you see a green cloud, which means that okay, there is a more a bullish future coming up. So if the stock has to continue, if if I need to call this as a bullish, only when it start breaking out this cloud, and then eventually it try to stay on top of the cloud, then only I call it as a the stock is actually breaking out. So if you take a look at previously last 2020 on UPS. Okay, so I'm just giving an example on a weekly chart. So here the stock broke out at this level, and the stock is trying to hold right above. And after this, it continuously held to its high, and then eventually can start. So what this cloud is, if the cloud is green and then it is more thick, which means the stock is more bullish right now. So, but if the stock actually go down from the cloud, which means that hey, there is a bearish sentiment, and if at all if it goes down, it will tend to go down. But the stock is now retesting this on a weekly cloud. So as long as it is trying to break out some of these levels 200, it eventually can start breaking right above that. So I suggest start watching on a daily chart. So if you see here, is having the solid cloud on the stock, and the stock has to break out at this level to show that hey, I'm super strong, I'm super bullish on this trend. Otherwise, but if the stock is trying to continue to so If you see here, there is a red cloud. If the stock breaks down from the red cloud, which means that okay, we have a more bearish future coming. So that's what it is. It will show the red bearish future. And if the stock goes below the red cloud, which means it is a strong bullish, you can just start buying more puts on that. And this is the Ishimoku cloud, which actually, based on the previous data, it also show what will what can happen in the future. Okay, right now there is a bearish trend, but after a few days there is a bullish. It can, if it can break above these levels, then it says, oh, okay, there is a bullish sentiment is coming up. So red cloud, bearish, green cloud, bullish. As long as the stock has to break above the cloud, which I call it as a super bullish.
Sure.
Sure. Okay, so then I have UPS, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola too. I mean, this is Warren Buffett's favorite stock, right? Mm, and now, right now, if you see, the stock was the 52-week high around $67, and now it found a bottom at $58, and eventually it is trying to, you know, trying to break out. It failed here, right? If it trying to break out, it failed here, and then eventually it break down. So which means that here itself it is, I mean, this stock, if you look, I mean, not much of a big movement of the stock. um and I really do not worry much on the Coca-Cola. If anybody looking for a long term, we can trust Coke and start putting it. And right now, and also this Bollinger Band also show the stock trying to rest on the Bollinger Band. Eventually, it picked up. These are the nice bull runs. Bull run for 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and eventually break down. That's what. So we got to we got to trade these trends. Okay, the stock is now rested on the Bollinger Band now, breakout. It's so eventually you can scalp from 58 all the way to 64, 10%. It's coming back now, and then I expect there is a move up towards this level starting from $60. But we got to see. But the only thing is the stock has to break above the 12 EMA to start accumulating any of the positions on top of this. That's what I expect. The stock has to break above 12 EMA to consider buying this stock for a short term to mid term. When I say short term to mid term, I will be holding the stock from anything from 1 week, which is 1 week to 2 weeks is my short term. Anything holding from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, I call it as a midterm. But anything holding from 6 weeks to all the way to 12 to 20 weeks, I call it as a long term. And that's what the stock is not breaking above the 12 EMA, so it's not a buy hit. So I expect this stock to break above 12 EMA, and then so if you see the stock is trying to break above here, but there is a reversal happened, and this stock is right now we kind of bearish. It has to start breaking above this cloud, then only I'll start taking any position. $61.59. I expect to break out, but I believe it is now rested on the lower Bollinger Band. It is trying to break out. So start anything if you buy. So you should be having 64 as your resistance to sell the target. And sometimes what happens, you should keep watching at these levels because Bollinger Band also will work as your resistance for any of these stocks. And so this stock includes 20, 50, 200-day simple moving average. So what you see in the green and also overlap with the yellow, so which is a 20 simple moving average. So all this will work as your resistance. 20 simple moving average, 50 simple moving average, 200-day simple moving average, and also this Bollinger Band. If the stock is breaking above Bollinger Band, which means the stock is super bullish. Okay, so I'll leave G probably. So G2, G is also like it bottomed out pretty much, and most of these stocks having a solid bearish because they all have to start breaking above, and it all depends now. So let's say 3 years. Okay, if you see on this stock, and some of these stocks bottomed out right at these levels, right? I'll start drawing this. So this level stock, this is also good support. 52 is also good support to the stock to bounce back up. I mean, here it started breaking above right here. So expect a good bounce above this level to start accumulating any of the positions. Right now, it on a 12 EMA, I got a sell signal and I tried to cover at 65. It is a still short position. If somebody wants to short it, they would have shorted right here itself. And if you see the moment the stock breaking below the cloud, there is a huge sell-off happened, and a lot of algos also start following this levels. And this was during the earnings. Last earnings, they're pretty bad. And I will look at another stock, MACD, and okay. So MACD is also consistently holding high, very close to its 270 was highest, but still it's holding on to it, irrespective of what conditions it is, whether a recession or not a recession, MACD is still continue to hold, and it did perform much better, and it was trading in these zones. So you can start, drawing some. Okay, I'm just drawing a trend line. The stock is trying to uh, find a support at this trend line. It is moving up slow and steadily, right? So that's what. So again, if we look, some of this stock is trying to going to, so it is forming, so it is trying to trade in these ranges, right? So that's what. So it is forming in this people call like what is that?
Symmetrical triangle.
Yeah, symmetrical triangle. And I would say more like this stock is trying to trade in these zones, and it is having this resistance. So if you see, look at the resistance, the resistance is also slowing down slowly. At the same time, support is also gaining up slowly. So which means that here bears are pushing, here bulls are pushing, here bears are pushing, here bulls are pushing. The same thing. Bears are pushing, bulls are pushing. Here the bears are uh, trying to push this down. That's what happened there multiple times. You got a sell-off signal, but again, bulls are also trying to work on this stock, and we got to wait and see how things about. And Tuesday we expect to break out this level, and the stock is already above this cloud, and there is more chances that we are going to try. And if there is a red cloud, means that the future outlook is somewhat low, and it is not that a super bullish. But whereas the stock break above the green cloud, which means that the stock can actually break out pretty much higher. So that's the thing, so keep it always on a daily chart. Look for the stock is breaking above 12 EMA. People also look about 5 EMAs too, but for my, usually when I wanted to trade, I wanted to buy the stock for at least 1 to 2 weeks, so that I expect a good returns. I don't want it to, if at all I'm day trading, I can scalp like 5%, 6%, but I want to find these good momentum, like buy here and then sell here, right? Buy here and sell here. So follow the 12 EMA. It's pretty good. 12 EMA is actually is giving a good. And another thing I also wanted to say that on a daily chart. So if you see at this level, the Bollinger Bands are small because the stock is consolidating here. There is not much of volatility. If it breaks down, that means the stock can break down, go down for a couple of days. So that's what, see this Bollinger Band right here and this one. This is upper and this is lower. If the stock is breaking below, consistently it will go down below. So you buy the puts whenever there is the bearish trend just started on the Bollinger Band. So right now there is more. So it is not. This is the clear resistance right here. The there is more a resistance it forming, and then the stock it has to stay above the 253 and these Bollinger Band to consistently. So I would say these 50 SMA is also will work as the the resistance right here. Okay. So okay, that's about MACD. And also wanted to take a look at Raytheon. Raytheon is also a very good company, just like Lockheed Martin. RTN. Okay, I look at the stock. Raytheon too, it fell down badly, and now it is trying to consolidate at this level. And anything above 97 is a good stock to buy and hold. It has to break out these levels, and once this resistance can be, if the stock can go above this trend, eventually we expect a good profit up to 105. First resistance I would say is 94 right now. First resistance I would say $100. The next, if it breaks out 97, I expect 100 to 106, and it can actually start breaking about much further. So that's what. So whenever I'm buying any stock, I make sure what is the next target where it will start going up, right? So this one I'm just looking maybe 10% of 10% or even 6 to 8%. We don't know, right? So that's what. So 20 simple moving average is right here, and this is 20 and this is 50, and yeah, exactly right at these resistance 10%. If you want to really scalp it, you can expect 10%, and earning is in within 2 days. Maybe I'll look at not many of these. So next, Alphabet. So Alphabet, it's very, very important earnings, right? If you look from last couple of days, Alphabet also was pretty choppy, very, very choppy. So that's what it is, trading in these zones. It bottomed out, went up, bottomed out, went up, bottomed out, went up, bottomed out. What? See, it just going sideways on Google. So I expect a good bounce on these support levels for Google. That's a reason I also have some calls on these trades. Right. Last Friday, I bought 111 call on this. If anybody not bought, take a look at this chart. It is looking good. I would say Google is already discounted stock to buy, and it also depends on the how the stock post their earnings, how did they perform from this last cost quarter. So so if you look on 4 hour, it's the same thing. Let's watch. So if you see, I'm still because of the snap, it bottomed out. I expect to gap above, or no, anything above 108.85 and higher. I expect the stock to gap up much further. So watch out on 30 minutes to 30 minutes. Yes, it is trying to consolidate right here, right now. And same thing. So if you look at weekly, it is just choppiness. One day, 1 week it's green, other week it is red, and it is trading in this zone. So it has to start breaking out this level. And if it breaks about 119, and I expect to cap up all the way to 144. Okay, so that's the cloud here. Once it can, so anything, whenever you buy any of these stocks, take a look at, you should maximum how you should buy any calls well before 141, so that the any of the calls you buy, it has to expire in the money in upcoming weeks. So that is what I'll never buy any calls more than 150 or 160. If at all, if I buy, maybe I would go a little longer, long leap calls. Alphabet. Next thing is Microsoft.
What is the
Microsoft.
support? 104.
Sorry.
What is the support for this long-term support?
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a look at on a daily chart. And see, so what happened right here, it formed a some zone here, especially if you see it bottomed out at 101. But I would say the best thing right here, it is a couple of times the stock bounced back at these levels. So anything from it is right at the support level so far, and anything starting at this 106 is a good support so far for Google, and you can start loading at these levels.
Okay. And you don't have the implied move, right?
Sorry,
Implied move.
what implied? Oh, like
The market moves.
okay. So if you see, market maker more expects $6
Yeah. Okay.
82 cents right here. Okay, so if you look at those 108 to 114, that's the expected. So I strongly suggest you can actually
Yeah,
stay
I
there.
just wanted to take it strangle, so that's why I was asking. So I just want to see the upper and lower limits so that I can take one.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, I think strangles are working good right now with
Yeah.
the current market. Either it is, but again, see, Google last time it really posted a good earnings.
Yeah,
Um,
Google normally pushes very well for most of the times on the earnings. So yeah, I just wanted to see what it would. I had like 112 calls, so I just want to take one on the put side. So that
yeah,
it can
just
cover.
if it breaks about 104,
Yeah.
and you should be looking at more to the downside.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so that's what. So all these stocks did pretty good. It is still you know, uh, testing these levels 106, 104. That's what the levels it is testing. If it breaks down below, right? So you got to start looking, where exactly some of these resistances. Okay, I'm looking at these resistance right now at 91. Okay, and right now it is some of this. Okay, some 100 and 91, and also start taking looking at these resistance and support where actually it bounced back. At the same time, see, but here it went up all the way high, and these support and bottomed out. And some of these are good support, but I don't think Google will ever go to this level right now. And I believe we kind of bottomed out and eventually we are bouncing back well above, because most of these companies did pretty good with cloud growth and sales. So let's see, that's what, if you see this green cloud, which means there is still a solid outlook there, and a weekly, and also we see the bearish trend almost going to end right here. If at all, if the stock has to, if it can, this is a very good future. It is, I mean, I expect to there is, these are some of these resistance levels. If it can break out these levels, there is a good future for Google. That's what that's a prediction so far, and I expect it is consolidating, and then it has to start. So if this Bollinger Band, if you take a look at this Bollinger Band right here, and I want, it bottom from all the way to 119, it bottomed out to 106, and then next week we got to see where exactly we are, either it is going down or going up. So, and that was about Alphabet. Let's see Microsoft. Microsoft too, it has bottomed out all the way from 349 to 245. And if you see some of these, it bottomed out at 241, 241, but eventually it found a good support right at these levels, and 249, 241, it found a good support, and now it is making the, so let's start writing some trend lines right here, and I would just wanted to trying to see this. Okay, I'll try to use the bodies. Bodies are sometimes much better for drawing, and I don't trust these wicks. Okay, at these levels, the stock trying to bounce back for Microsoft. Okay, so you can consider this support, this, what are the trend line support. You should start buying puts on this trend line support, and this is the same thing with Microsoft as well, and this stock has to break above. So first resistance I see right here. Okay, 268 is the first resistance. Okay, and after 268, 276, and 290. If you look, and this stock also have a symmetrical triangle. So let's see if okay. So these are, it's coming to the decision state right now. A lot of this stock is having similar trend, symmetrical triangle. They're just trying to consolidate and then trying to trade in this zone. So if at all, if it start breaking, I believe this will break out, from this level. And if it is, this is, most of the stocks will retest and then go up. So typically what happens, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but I would say maybe a bigger candle starting Monday. So that's the expectation. we have to see how the real moment of the stock happens. So if at all if it breaks, so don't expect too much a big change for Microsoft. Maybe you can expect a maybe like 5% to 10%, not more than that, not more than that on for Microsoft. And currently I think Microsoft is having some couple of there is another one, I believe. Uh, there are few merging is also going. There are some actually Microsoft. There was a news actually. It was a bullish news for me. Netflix and Microsoft, I believe so. So this is regarding the ad. So we gotta like wait and watch. But I expect Microsoft stock to break above these levels eventually. And Visa. Okay, so Visa also starting trading in this zone, but eventually it is actually breaking out. If you see, it bottomed out all the way. It bottomed out at 189, and it is also forming a similar moment. So earlier, right here, it broke this trend line. So if you look the stock, I'm just trying to draw the the latest highs. Okay, extend to the right, and this stock actually broke out that level, and it is above the cloud. So it is looking pretty solid and strong bullish for the next week coming up. And these chart are pretty awesome, and it is actually the stock is trying to break above this Bollinger Band on a daily chart, and eventually expect this stock to break out. See now, if you see, I'll start drawing some of these levels so that you know where exactly it is breaking out. Okay, 217. If it break out, we are looking at a next resistance 225, 229, and 235. And Visa is looking pretty good for calls. As long as it is trying to stay above this trend line, it is good. I expect this stock expected to be a bullish move to the up. Again, we got to see the earnings, how the prediction is. Maybe we can take a look at okay, short term, mid term, long term, long, and it also beat earnings every time. So take a look at these revenue and earnings. Revenue were pretty good in 2021, 2020, and maybe you can take a look at quarterly. Okay, even last quarter it did pretty good. The revenue was 7 billion and earnings was 3 billion. I think overall with the pandemic easing out, I think a lot of transactions globally that would help Visa to breaking out. And looking at the where is the holders, and let's take a look at the holders. Who is having more? Vanguard, BlackRock, and Morgan Stanley is also holding position. BlackRock is the biggest big guys out there. BlackRock is pretty good. Mm, and there are some insider transactions also. You can take a look at these stocks last 6 months. Insider roster, and company outlook is looking good. I think Yahoo performance is outperform in the sector. and maybe take a look at any of the research, especially morning stars. I expect okay, from last July 19th, Morningstar had so I'll take a look at, I'll download this report and try to see how Visa is holding its so fair value $229. The current price is $213. Okay, market cap and it's a risk is medium. Okay, and it is Visa is a long time established market leader, still enjoys strong growth prospects. Okay, and this is a Morningstar report. Morningstar is pretty good. They do a lot of better research, and I expect they to be performing much better if we see. So I think overall, I think the stock is looking to break out pretty good. I think again, some of these reports will just change right after the earnings. So I strongly take a look at these earnings before I buy any of my growth stocks. That's why, I mean, take a look at some of these reports to see if whether you have the what is really the stock doing, right? The same thing. And I also take a look at where's the analyze and fundamentals. See on CFRA, I got a buy signal on Visa and the street buy, and so this stock is looking pretty good to hold on. The CFRA is a really very good very good tool to find the better stocks. I feel that this stock is performing really good. It's just, what is the rating so far? The buy rating is it's a buy on CFRA. Okay, and some of these EPS expectations, 10K invested 5 years ago, worth now 22,000. Market cap yield for 71%, dividend $1.5. Institute owners is 75%, which is pretty good. If more institutes are holding it, expect. And the other thing I look at is the one I was looking, market edge, and okay, I need to log in. Street. Yeah, street is also it says to buy. So there are overall very good. Target price is 237 for Visa. So let's take a look at the chart right now and see if you see they're just targeting well above the 22nd Feb 237 level. So I would say going more in the money calls on this, it would be good for you to be holding on these targets, which will help you. So we are trying to do both technical analysis and fundamental analysis to see where the stock. See, actually, fundamental analysis drives the stock to price to go up or down. So that's the thing. So you got to have both technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Some of these reports will help you to find out. So this is the one way to find, especially go to analyze tab on the TDM trade and look at the street and CFRA. You don't really have to buy any subscription or anything. Come here and take a look. And let's say the research team, why it is saying reduce. Okay. So this is, I think, TDM trade is, I think RT is a different research team. So some of these ratings could be old. Rating reiterated on 7/24/22. Okay, so just to take a look why they're trying to share this, and rating accuracy is 60%. And I strongly believe in street and CFRA. They're pretty good ratings. Okay, that's about Visa and Enphase Energy. Oh, Enphase Energy is also now trying to bounce back up. And it is actually broke out this level. I expect the stock to be breakdown, but eventually it moved up. It found a support and eventually moved up. You can expect the stock. It is trying to break out. If you see right now, this is just a pullback. Eventually, it can gap up. Eventually it actually broke out this level, this resistance. You got to wait and watch for the next candle where whether it can form here or form to the up. So if it can form to the up, expect this stock to gap up all the way to $280 on Enphase. And second, next thing is Chipotle. Chipotle CMG. Chipotle has been beaten down pretty badly. It found a support at $1,200, and now it is, if it can break above this $1,400, we are looking to gap up all the way to 1640. Okay, I think so far with the current the trend, it has to start break out these levels. I don't think it would be jumping right away till here. So maybe expect somewhere in the middle, expect maybe 1500 if the earnings are pretty good. So do the analyze on CMG. Yep, CMG, I see a good buy signal, and it's a nice CFRA also is holding 3 stars. Street is a buy, and then the target okay, this is little old. Maybe we can take a look at something. Yeah, what is the research team is saying? Okay, this is the rating accuracy 42%. I will leave it here. That's what a S&P, say CMG is really underperforming and under so far in S&P 500. And so you gotta take a look what's so this is some of these report is old right now on rating. This is upgraded. Okay, the stock price is upgraded. I expect to move on the street. What is street saying? Street expects 1266. Okay, even they follow SMA. Now most these CFRS street, they follow SMA 50, SMA 100. So if you see, we rate Chipotle as a buy. Okay, that's what the buy right now. So expect this stock to gap up pretty good. And a lot of these stock, I would like to buy and hold on to this because they expect to gap up pretty good. It's a buy right now on CMG. And also, if you see, and if I take a look, the stock is above 20 SMA and also 50 SMA, right? 20 and 50. Let's see. 20 is green and 50 is blue and 200 is red. Okay, this is 200 SMA and this is 50 SMA. Okay, now 20 is right here. It's green, right? 20 is just trying to stay above the 50, and we got to wait and watch if it is continuously hold right above that level to stay. This is going to be a positive bullish moment. So right now it is trying to go very close to this Bollinger Band. We got to see whether it can trying to gap up, then it's a buy. If it's going below, then I would say like this will actually again gap up all the way to 1200 and see. So that's about the Chipotle and some of these So maybe I'll take a look at Texas Instruments. Okay, TXN2 is a very good stock, and I expect they also, this is bouncing pretty good from 146 to all the way. If you see some of these stocks, take a look right here. It is bouncing pretty good from July, right? July, they're trying to bounce back above, and then there was a sell-off signal right under this cloud, correct? And we expect to gap up well above on this. So eventually, I would say the first thing, it has to break out above 167, then it has to break about 178 is the next target. If you see at these levels, and these will work as a clear resistance, 191, 187, 187, 191, these form the demand zone. Yeah, supply zone right here. So if at all, and here if you see, the stock is trying to sell it. So at these level, at these zones, stock is trying to sell off. The stock trying to came up here, and then there is a sell off. Here also same thing. These are called as a supply zones, and especially the stock at these levels. If you see, the first demand zone is right here, and the second demand zone is right here. The stock trying to, wherever it is trying to find a support and then jumping, it found some good demand here at this zone. There was a good demand to buy the stock, but at this zone there was a supplying the stock for selling, right? So this I call as supply, and this I call as demand zone. So that's what. So now next supply zone is right here, because multiple times the stock is trying to sell off at these levels. Okay, so this I call supply. The stock has to break above this level. It tried to retest this level and then break above, again trying to retest. So yeah, this is the zones for Texas Instruments. And if at all, if it is, it can break on this level, right? This is like, if you see, this cloud is very small, and there is a high possibility that it could sink. And again, some of this Ishimoku cloud will get, if you see the thickness of the cloud here, it is reduced, right? That's because the stock is trying to consistently jumping up. So that's what bring this cloud to lesser and lesser thicker. So that's what you expect. And I'll explain about this Ishimoku cloud in the future, sometime the next session, how they are formed. They are formed just based on the EMAs. Okay. Right now, just plot them in the chart and then try to see whether they're good to, they're having a good future to the upside or downside. Okay, then I look at Shopify. Shopify earnings on Wednesday. Shopify, it is being consolidating from last couple of, see right here, it found a good support. I'll just draw some support zones. Okay, I call this is the demand zone. Okay, also this is the supply zone. At this level, the stock is trying to selling off at these levels. Okay, 39 and 41. If the stock can break above 41, I would say I call this 48 as the next resistance. Okay, so we can extend it and then watch out for this trend. So there is a solid cloud right here. That means even though if it comes, that means there is still a negative resistance. There is resistance right here. It has to break above. So it has to break our two resistance levels. One around 39 to 41. The next resistance is around 49. Okay. So far I have a buy because I expect on 12 EMA I am a buy so far. So next, Boeing. Boeing is recovering, right? Boeing, we have a call. So Boeing too, it is having a nice ascending chart pattern right here. Okay, stock is trying to go up, go and above. So it is a solid. As long as I'll be holding this stock, as long as it is trying to hold right above this trend line. Okay, if it is dropping below, then I would just buy some more puts, and it can actually can stop these levels. Okay, so also at this level the stock actually bounced back, it consolidated, and then now it is trying to. So if I some of these are a good resistance. Previously it was a resistance, now this will work as a support for this stock, right? This one was a previously resistance, now it will work as a support for this stock. Okay, some of these are critical levels for Boeing. Spotify, I'm not worried much. If anybody trades, Spotify is also in a similar zone, and it also expects a good moment, but usually Spotify is not having the great so Spotify management, and it's not in a very great like a profit zone. Okay, so I am not that completely bullish on this. Okay, so if you look, Spotify comes somewhere under here. So Roku is also, so it is not that very profit making company so far. Next thing is look at probably I'll take the next one, Meta. Meta is having earnings on after Wednesday market close.
We can take Humana as well, like the healthcare
Humana
stocks.
also? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Humana is healthcare, right?
yeah. CIE, Humana, UNH, all are breaking out.
Okay, Humana. Okay, that's good. Okay, Humana is a nice, good-looking chart, and similar to United Healthcare, the stock is really bouncing pretty good. It found some bottom on almost December 22nd, but eventually it picked. It is riding on a strong trend line support. So I think this is looking good. The stock is nicely holding above, and what is it right now? What it says? Let's see. I do it 5-year daily. Wow, it's consistently holding up pretty good. I believe it is 52-week high is around 497, which is good. Yeah, this is way very closer to the highs of 497 somewhere. I believe this stock would eventually can break out pretty good. So So what is the next resistance? Let's see. Nice. Looking at this chart, it was around 2009. This was around $20. Now it is $496. Very good stuff. Okay. So you wanted to know the next resistance for some of these stocks, right? So what I would say, if at all, if you wanted to hold for a long term, okay. So what I will do, I'll just trying to take only 1 year chart, 1 year daily chart. Okay, this is 1 year daily chart. And first thing I wanted to project the, where is the percentage? I want to project the yearly the growth on this stock, looking at the highs and lows for next 1 year. Okay, so what did I do? I just selected a percentage and I selected the high. Okay, and also I selected the low on this stock. So it will draw a couple of lines. Okay, and these lines also will work as the resistance. If you see here on 78.60%, this was a clear resistance for this stock, and eventually this was a clear resistance on this. And some of the key these levels, the stock found some support and then bounce back. Okay, and if I say whenever the stock is bullish, as long as it is trying to stay above 50 and 61.8, which is pretty good. So I wanted to know the next resistance on this stock. So I'll try to see if you see, if we currently, if we project, and as I expect this stock to actually, if it grows similarly from last years, the stock to go all the way to 593, and so and eventually I expect the stock to gap up pretty good. Okay, and that's what right now I expect the next resistance somewhat, if at all, if you do a long term, I expect the stock can actually go to 593 based on the stock movement. And if it breaks down 593, it can actually gap up to 742 in 2 3 years, if at all, if it is consistently holding. So any stock, and it is a 52-week high, and this is what I call as the future resistance, and I draw for a last year. If I expect, okay, if I'm trying to hold on to this stock for next 1 year, I expect the stock to gap up to 593. That would be the first resistance. Most companies algos, that's how they find the resistance on the stocks. Okay. And what's other company you said?
CI Signa
Signa.
and UHC.
Okay. Signa 2 is having a nice run. I think all the healthcare and insurance, they're having a nice run. So expect, okay, it is trying to break about this level and this cloud, and it went down a bit, but eventually it can actually the trade bottom out a bit, and then eventually it can start moving up. So 263 is a good support on this stock on 200-day, and 282 for 50 simple moving average. Okay, 200-day is 282, and this one is a 50 simple moving average, but overall the stock is still not above the 20 SMA. Okay, whereas 12 EMA, it is trying to break out right here. We got to wait and watch, and this sounds to be a good support so far. At this level, stock bounced back, and at this level the stock is looking to bounce back up. If somebody asked what's the next support, you can take 242 is the next support. If at all you want to buy, you can also buy at this level also.
Can you check Anthem? So these are sympathy play for Humana. All this Anthem,
Anthem is a
UHC.
good stock, very good
Yeah.
stock.
So based on Humana, Anthem can rally too. I think they changed the ticker recently. Anthem.
Okay. I think somebody asked him question. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think Ravi asked one question on the SPX calls on 4075, 4100, 4150. Okay, so I expect a very good moment. I think this week 40% of the QQQ, most stocks are projecting, this they're posting their earnings. So which means that there's a big movement coming up. Okay, I expect to the upwards. That's why some of these calls I'm just loading it and then keeping it. See, stocks premiums and options premiums, you can expect to go down 50% or 60%, 70% on the SPX. XPX, you can expect it can go up 90% and come back to 20% on SPX. SPX, you got to have patience and hold on to some of the trades. And same thing with last time. On last Friday, I gave 3960, 4,000, and they did pretty good. And the same thing here also. So you got to conscious, you got to hold and wait for next week. I know it may be a little intimidating for you to hold those option contracts, but I mean, it will pay off.
Okay, thanks, Sri.
Sure, Ravi. So, Anthem.
Yeah, just type the full name, Anthem. They recently changed the ticker name. Yeah.
ANTM. Okay, why it's not coming?
Oh, let me check Google.
Is it ADL?
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's the one because they changed it recently. You know. Anthem.
Okay. See right here and then start.
It says ELV, ELV.
AD.
No, just ELV.
Okay, is it?
Yeah, they changed it.
Okay, it's kind of having the negative trend line so far this level, and the stock is turned to the right. Okay, it is trying to go down. Okay, and I expect some. Yeah, I think we have to wait and see how the earnings play out. Earnings already over?
Yeah, I think they had the earnings last week. So
Oh, okay.
first
I think
they have, yeah, first they have UHC, then Anthem, now Humana.
okay, okay, that's fine. We'll move on to other one. So far, it is looking a little bearish with the current setup. It is resting on the Bollinger Band. It is, I think it can actually go down a bit. That's what my expectation for this stock. Next thing is let's take a look at Meta. Meta is also having a very bearish zone. I gave 160 puts, and I think they can even back to 154 right now. They had a support at 155. Due to the snap, even they went down. Maybe expect. I think this is still okay. Yeah, I think maybe it is going to retest this level 154. That's what my expectation for Meta. If we break out that level, it will be even more harsh for this stock. See, previously it found some support right here. 143, 149 is a good resistance support. So see right at these zones. 148. The Meta we have. Okay, I have 150 puts on this on 29 July. I think this was the main reason. Okay, let's see how things will turn out. Yeah, if it is a good increase in the premium, we can just cash in profits. Ford. Ford, look at this. Wow, what a nice up and down. Clearly, right? And this is sell off. And see, this 12 EMA is so amazing, and weekly, even daily, it is little bit choppy. And if you see on a long term, if somebody wants to short, sell, never ever it got a buy. Now we got a buy for Ford. I believe Ford is going to gap up pretty good here. For long term, Ford is a good addition right now. With all these electric cars spiking, I expect a good solid. I'm gonna remove this, all these levels. See, it is having a nice. It bottomed out at the Bollinger Band. It is trying to break above the 12 EMA, and it is a good buy right now. That's what. If you look, it had a solid run, but whereas now it is trying to break. So these clouds are good resistance zones so far, and start. I think I gave buy alert for Ford. Yeah, I think last Tuesday I gave buy at Ford, July 19th. So Ford at $12. Yeah, right at these levels. So it was breaking out at $12, and then I gave. And some of these are, I call it as a breakout trades because it broke out these candles. This is good stock to buy and hold. Okay. And so what are the other stocks? Qualcomm. Qualcomm, I gave I think one of the watch list I gave on the Qualcomm, and it bounced back from the watch list. Yeah, see, I think I gave Qualcomm watch list for 10 to 20% gain in sometime July 10th. Okay, so it did pretty good from July 10th. So if you see on a daily, So something around July 10th. Yeah. Okay, well before this level, I gave around these levels, and eventually, from these levels, maybe let's consider from here. It did pretty good from 136 to all the way to 155. Okay. Yeah, almost 20 points up, right? From 136 to 155, almost 20 points up. So still I expect to Qualcomm to gap up higher. So it is, see, these, some of these, it is a clear buy. It is trying to gap up pretty higher, and 95 is the next resistance. Okay, and so what is other? Now also take a look at these higher to just to draw some of these levels. Okay, and I just wanted to wish to gap this up, gap up. And usually the stock go up and then trying to come back and rest it down and trying to bounce back to the next level. If it doesn't work, then it will start bleeding down. So once it start bleeding, so usually support, supply, okay, demand, supply. Okay, this will work as supply, then it will work as this will work as demand, and this will work as supply, right? So first thing is this will work as demand, and this will work as supply. If there's a failure and it stop dropping out right here and then trying to cap up. So usually the stocks eventually trade in the zones. So that's another thing. Apart from the EMA strategy, you got to start doing that also. So let me share one more. It is the quick chart. Okay, so when I say it will usually the stocks will move from one zone to another zone. Okay, if I see this is the demand zone and this is the supply zone. So typically the stocks will move from demand zone to supply zone. And if the market is trying to recovery is happening, it will bounce at this. This is on a daily chart. Take a look on a 4-hour chart too. So 4-hour chart, just one of these. Okay. You can see some upload, but I will show you how to plot some of this by just by yourself. You don't really need to follow anything. First thing is if the stock is right here, okay, draw the line. This is your clear support. Okay, I'll remove and clear lines it right here. Okay, this is your first support. Second support would be your previous resistance will work as the first support on this stock. Okay, so that's what. So your previous resistance, right? Watch on this. Your previous resistance. Well, okay. So some of these will. This is what I would say. Okay, this is the simple levels. Just follow these trends. You don't have to really follow like too many things. Just keep it simple. Okay, right now what happened earlier, I'll do this. I can actually and try to see. Okay, if you see here, earlier this was the resistance. Now it will work as a support. Again, same thing. It was the resistance. It will now work as a support. So you got to keep watching at these levels. Okay, and this could be a strong support right here because at multiple times the stock, well, it worked as resistance and then it broke down. Okay, this will work as your strong supporter. The more it reversed the position right here, right? I'll extend to the left. So if you see at this level, the stock is, there are a lot of bears out there. They're trying to put the stock down, but the same, so it will work as a support. Eventually it will start So here also at this level, the stock trying to pull back down, but eventually there are more institute buyers or retail traders buyers. It will eventually start picking up higher. So that's about the Qualcomm. I'm bullish on the stock and I expect the stock to gap up to all the way to 183 to 190 if we continue to do better. And T-Doc. T-Doc consolidation right now, and the stock has been fell down so badly, very, very badly. Okay, and it is trying to bounce right above this upper Bollinger Band. It is working on the upper Bollinger Band, which means that, okay, there is something cooking up for this stock, right? So see, it's having a nice ascending run. As long as it is continue to stay above this level, I'll continue to hold on to this, but we got to see like how, what's happening. See, there is a huge gap. If you see here, there's a huge gap at this level. So, and this will work as your previous and if at all, if the stock gap up, it will gap up all the way to right here. This is the next resistance is right here itself. It can actually gap up to 59, but we got to see, the stock is slow, but I mean, this is a premium killer. I mean, if the stock consistently choppy like this, it will just keep eating your premium. So looking at the ATR2, it is like not that big. It will eventually move $2.48, maybe 5%. It is moving up or down. Take a look on this. If you're not sure what's going to happen, maybe take a look at some of these reports. CFRA is saying hold. Okay, it'll take some time to start understanding this. See, Teladoc is a sell rating on the street. Teladoc is somewhere right here on the bottom. Okay, rest of the other stocks, if you see, they are up. I think this is telehealth, right? Yeah, start understanding some of these. This is really good reading. Etsy, Lam Research, Quantum. Okay, Etsy2, it is gapping up. Okay, pandemic almost is going to go over, and many are trying to sell their artwork and a lot of okay, it's a nice ascending. So Etsy is trying to, it's breaking out 81, 79, 81. It's all the way to 97 right now. It is breaking out. Etsy is pretty good. Anything this stock, it can gap up pretty good. It is and can have the good see, hold long position in many stocks. So it is actually good. I expect the stock to perform better. That's what Etsy is somewhere here. Chevy, Millie, Dash, Coupon. You got to start understanding what are the peers, how they are performing. Also, okay, that's another important thing. I'm bullish on this stock and I expect to, okay, where did I think I read out okay, I think I had some Fibonacci drawings and anything if it is breaking over 23 right here, that's also good mm, buy zone right now. If you see, it is trying to gap up on this level, so which is a good. Let's see, it's good. Lamb is also another good stock. I don't want to go more in detail. Lamb research. Lamb research. Yeah, some of these stocks fell down badly, and these are actually now bouncing back up, and it is walking on the upper Bollinger Band. It is good, looking good on poly MA. Yeah, it's above the 200 SMA. Okay, and also right above 50 SMA. This stock is breaking out pretty good. It is above the 20, 50, and 100. I may be expecting a good jump right now. So lamb usually it run pretty good. So yeah, it's a good buy ratings on street CFRA. And let's take a look at Seeking Alpha to another website. I watch it to just to know the trend. Okay, I have some buy, hold, good ratings. Robust demand offset. Okay. Dividend growth. Yeah, just read these some of these before you buy any of these to just to get some overall valuation and other things. And sometimes reading these will give you a good fundamental analysis as well. I think this stock can break above pretty good. It has been fallen down badly, and it expects to move up, and if it breaks above this resistance, it will help you. Okay, next comes lamb is done. Pfizer.
Now service now.
Service now.
Yeah, it's pretty good as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, service now too. It is trying to bounce, and this trend so far it is just see going up, going down, going up, going down, going up. So 511, I think you can still expect a good, decent profit expectation for service now. And with the most companies are performing better, and S&P is also bouncing back up. So expect to break over this level 511, and eventually it can start doing better. And also the stock is above the, it is well just below the 20 SMA and 50 SMA, and 200 SMA is right here. The stock is above the 200 SMA, which is good, and it is just dancing around the 20 and 50 SMA. I believe the stock is about to break out on this level. So expect a good earnings, maybe a good profit. Then I would say this can actually start 511 to 590. You can start loading some of the calls to above, at least anything under 511, mostly in the money. They might get in the money by this week. At least you can expect the stock to move until 511 or 409. So anything you buy, you try to buy in between. The more better speculative or option contracts are, that's how you get rewarded. If you buy a more option to the little bit far, maybe you can buy little far option expiry calls upwards. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple more. Pfizer. Pfizer also, it is a nice, I would say, okay. So these are, okay. So yeah, I'm just doing a rough drawings to just to show the overall price action. That's what the stock is trying to consolidate in these two. It is trying to break above this level. I expect a Pfizer to gap up. Let's see how things turn out, because it was good so far with the vaccine and everything. But, with the Novavax is also having other vaccination, and some of these stocks eventually can break down as well, unless they do something different for this vaccination. Most of these drug companies, maybe I expect we can just go to the downside, because they expect the next market outlook, unless if monkeypox or somebody a different pandemic is coming, and then if Pfizer had something better vaccination, it can even go back to 62, who knows. But right now it is just consolidating on this trend, and it is not that I got a buy signal at the 12 EMA. We got to wait and watch for next 53.92 is a good resistance so far, and I would watch on this descending trend line to just to see if it is the stock can actually start breaking out. Okay. Maybe it will just trade in these zones right now. Next we have Southwest MasterCard. MasterCard 2, nice. Yeah, if you see here is some of these levels, the stock bounce back at these levels, right? I start drawing these levels, and roughly I'll just draw these levels, and eventually if we see the stock is trying to find some okay, I'm just trying to connect the tops. Okay, and this made a kind of a triple bottom right here, 1 2, and this is another bottom, but that's what, so I would say at least I can call as this is also people call head and shoulders too. Okay, and this is the head, and this is one shoulder, and this one shoulder. But eventually, inverse head and shoulder is a good reversal positions to call. That's what. If you take any of these, any pain. Okay, I'll just down this. If any stock make this. Any stock made any double bottom to break out, okay, or on this downtrend line, it made a double bottom and can break out. That also can work. Okay, so this is a different sideways bottom, and this is a straight line. This can actually start breaking out on this. So same thing here. It on the first thing, right? On this, if you see, it made one bottom, and this is making another bottom. So if it can break out this level, then I call it as a bullish. Otherwise, I call this as a bearish stock on MasterCard. Okay, I'll do one on the Merck also, Merck and Southwest too. I want to take a look at Southwest as well. Southwest LUV. Okay, Southwest 2 found a bottom, $34. Eventually it is gapping up. I think with Delta Airlines, some of these stocks moved badly because Delta posted real bad earnings. Eventually that's what happened. It didn't do pretty high. So that's the reason. And most Southwest also did not do high, but we got to see how they did performed, and the stock is above 250 and 20 SMA. Okay, but 12 EMA, I got a sell signal just for yesterday's sell-off signal, but that's fine. I mean, I expect if market continues to be better, we can expect the stock to do perform pretty good. But I'm still bullish with the current outlook on this stock. It is looking somewhat bullish right here. And you can also just to confirm, you can just also add some RSI to just to help you out to see if there is any buying opportunity, RSI and MACD too. Okay, see RSI slowly it is trying to gap up. MACD is also got a buy right here. Okay, so somewhere here 35, 40. Okay, RSI and MACD both are up, so expect a good somewhat run on these stocks. I'll just move RSI to here so that we can see. Okay, perfect. Peabody Energy, Altria, Mark is now there is a sell-off happened. Maybe you can expect to this support line for the Merck. Okay. It is trading in the zones. It will trade in this zone, and then eventually at 83, you can load some calls on Merck. Okay. Then what else? We have a big Amazon. Amazon is a big pie. So Amazon, what is the trend so far? Amazon, if you see, the stock is all the way bottomed out. 102 is a good 1, 2, 3, 4, and it found the next 106. Okay, so almost 4 places it bottomed out and then pulled back up. So that's what it has to break above 128 to gap up to the next price. So I see 145 and 157 that the next resistance. I believe Amazon to perform much better with oil. I mean petrol. The gas prices are pretty much easing out with some of the tax cut. I think it is working out for Amazon. That's what I heard. If you look for Amazon on the Yahoo Finance, okay, there are some research reports happened. So if anybody wants to know some of these, we'll share it. Okay, take a look on the channel. Okay. So if you see on July 20, there is a rating decrease. Just and see. So if you see these levels overvalued and undervalued, I'll get to know. Okay, the prime set was secret 992. Fair value is $192. Okay, this was around 2nd June. Yeah, just take a look at these reports. I'll be happy to share some of these reports if anybody interested. Okay. This Morningstar is also like this. Morningstar subscription is like $200, but eventually Yahoo Finance and other stock they will be keep posting and some of these good ratings. So the long hold buy a very good rating so far on street. It says a good hold rating so far on Amazon, and I think it is expected to perform better. Let's see. So with the revenue growth, I think it is little down somewhere here. I think Coupang has a pretty good revenue growth. Coupang is still stop. DoorDash is also on Amazon is on the bottom somewhere here. Yeah, looking at the margins, it is with the gas prices. Okay, I need to log in on this. Okay, I think this is Amazon still has some worrisome on the overall. I think that's with the gas prices. The reduced gas prices, this will eventually pick up pretty good. You gotta just wait and watch how things would be. So if at all, if you buy anything, I would strongly suggest buy any calls above 128 to the upside or anything under $100 to the puts side. So never buy anything like 95 or 90 puts. Try to trade within the zone. Trying to buy anything like 110 puts, so that even if it is come down, it has a strong support at 102, and eventually there will be buyers ready to buy on that price. Okay, so Roku. Okay, Roku 2 is a similar stock like Netflix. If you see, it is also very choppy. If you look at the stock, it is very choppy. So I expect we to gap up. It is showing some good movements right now with the short-term trend. It is just going up. We gotta wait and watch and see how it is also. And also, if you see in these trends too, this is also making similar symmetrical triangle. Okay. Both buy and selling pressure. You got to wait and see how things to turn out. So so expect more choppiness, as we go towards earnings. So let's see if at all, if you want to buy any calls on this, trying to buy calls at 86, and I expect this stock to gap up a bit. We'll see. And Apple. I forgot Apple. Okay, Apple bouncing pretty good. So see, just some of these moments looking at the insider transaction, and I mean, Apple will be definitely a strong bullish. We got to wait and watch and see what is the next trend. There was a resistance at uh, there was a resistance at 151. It broke out that level. The next resistance I am looking at 166, and eventually, if at all, if it gaps up, it can actually go to 176 as well. So first, wait and watch at this trend. Maybe expect maximum to the 166, and maybe once that is done, and we expect 176. So ideally, it would move with all the current market outlook. If it moves to 166, that would be really great earnings. But if at all, if there is something bad, if it breaks down below 152, 144, and 137 would be the next support to watch for Apple. And I'm looking at RSI and MACD. This is the increasing buying pressure building up with RSI. MACD is also short to buy around $130. So that's about Apple, Amazon, and what else? Intel. Intel 2 descending chart from this year, right? It is trying to break above and walking on the upper Bollinger Band. There was a sell-off on the daily, and you got to see like why this is selling off on the chip sector. Okay, so the strong support at $35, and if it is trying to gap up $40, and I expect to gap up to 44, and not a great movement I expect on some of these stocks. Intel, if you see on the earnings, everything is a hold. We got to wait and see how the earnings numbers would be. Exxon Mobil, Chevron. Okay, Zoom buy street buy, but looking at Zoom, well, let's see how the market. So Zoom, if you see what are the stocks are doing pretty good, then Zoom is right here. Okay, EQNR is doing, it's all the way top. Oxy is also doing somewhat better. CVX is unfavorable on the revenue growth, and revenue growth, EQNR. I think on oil, I believe we would be going down, with oil being people shorted left and right. The top, I think we are eventually going to go down. That's what is EQNR? EQNR is also the grid stock, $38, and then eventually we are trying to gap down. Yeah, so I think we're looking to the down. Okay, I think street has a rating to buy. We got to see like why, because overall I think oil has been playing pretty good. Pure factor, especially for inflation. Okay. ENG, AstraZeneca, Arbor. I think that should be it for all the earnings related. If you have any certain symbol or any questions, and I also be starting the So next week onwards, I also said right here, I'll be studying 10K to 25K, both stocks and options challenge starting this week. And we're going to reset all the stocks and options challenge, and then we'll be starting on this week onwards, for a good move up on the portfolio, S&P and QQQ. So for I forgot to do for SPY2. So these are some of the key levels on SPY. SPY broke out this level. It trying to find a support on this trend, eventually expecting to gap up all the way to 417. If the S&P, most stocks did perform pretty good. If not, we would be looking at these 372 to the downside and 363 to the downside. So expect to perform here to the top. We'll see and how we do it. I think most companies, they're getting smarter, and then they did posted good earnings last week. S&P expect to gap up to the high. RSI, more buying pressure, more money pumping into S&P. MACD is still a buy. We'll see how things turn out. So once we break out 417, I'm looking at 434, but we got to wait and watch for this week. What is the real prediction? So all our SPX calls expect to gap up. So SPX, I'm thinking this week, if most companies do pretty good, we'll be looking at 4180. Let's see how things 4170 to 4180. That's my expectation, because 40% of the QQQ is posting their earnings, and S&P most top companies. So if you look SPY,
But with this FOMC meeting and the interest rate hike, do you think still?
That's a good question. So I would say FOMC meeting is on what, Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday to
Wednesday GDP. Okay. Wednesday GDP. I want to bring that also. Not once. Yeah. Wednesday turning. Yeah, I think Thursday is GDP and Powell 27th. So Powell would be talking and it might update something. But however it is, I am still bullish so far. Let's see how things shake out. And eventually, I expect GDP also to be
And
better.
tomorrow's NXPI numbers also is expecting.
Tomorrow?
NXPI.
NXPI numbers. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see it here. NXPI number. What is it? NXPI. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that is not a great we'll see at 8:30 how but just keep following the price action to see how the markets move out. So I forgot to update on QQQ. QQQ also similar trend. I expect to gap up. Next resistance would be around 314, and we would be for tall if it is 296 is a good support for QQQ. This is having a nice ascending run so far. I expect the stock to perform much better on these bonds. Okay, expect to, and the stock is holding pretty good. So 314 to the up, and next if for tall, if we gap up pretty high, maybe 330 is also not bad if we continue, if we do perform much better. Okay, something around 332 too. I perform, some of these we have good solid gapping. I mean, there's still a good growth expected, and I think we already priced in on the inflation and other. But we got to just wait and watch how the price action, because I would say, however it is, whether it's say you may be thinking like, oh, okay, we are really gapping down or really gapping up too much, but try to follow the market price action to the up or downside so that you stay to current. And if you look, okay, I got buy from last Thursday. Eventually now there was some sell-off, but eventually what happened, it is bounce back on this trend. Okay, if you see it trying to bounce back on this trend, that's what I expected, some bounce back on this trend. So let's see how things shake out this week. That's what Fed 230 Wednesday, and GDP is this is biggest thing. And we have inflation index too on Friday, but I mean again Chicago PMI 945. So I would say anything, if at all, if you buy any puts, try to buy before Wednesday in case, and have some puts as well. Just try to play both calls and puts, so that will help us to keep in some balance for your portfolio hedging.
Now the futures are looking down at this point, but
yeah, futures 15 points, that is totally fine. I'm not bothered much on 15 points. If you look at EX, is also somewhat very choppy. With this, anything it is not so negative, I'll take positive note. So tomorrow morning, get up and see like how things it would be different. Like okay. If you have any questions, let me know.
The question is related to the chips bill. So we expect that bill will pass on Tuesday, right? So do we expect that a lot of sell for Nvidia, AMD, those stocks right now?
I think going to any of these events will eventually will be more bearish, because many don't want to keep their positions. That's the issue. And I would say for a short term, you can play puts on the chip, because I know like AMD went down, Nvidia went down, and just to trade until those because one more thing, see, if there is any event to the stocks with that sector, eventually most will be trying to sell off and to try to keep their positions safe. Only when right after the event, what exactly the result, based on that everybody wants to get in so quickly. So I would suggest you can just watch out, especially after 9:30, 10 o'clock. So right now, I know it is like somehow sell-off signal, but I expect all this chip is pretty important for EV and other so far. And I don't, because chip will decide the EVs down the line. So that's what, so right now it was in a downtrend channel, but now I think we we will still gap up irrespective of what. I still continue to buy and hold SOXL, anything related to these stocks right now. I'll continue to buy these stocks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Can we look at Costco?
Costco did gap up all the way to 534, right? And I told this will eventually gap up to 540s. It did. 544 is a resistance, but I think Costco would eventually can gap up to 600s with another 2-3 months or even 1 month. It is more there's more possibility. It is doing consistently performing better with current trend. It is doing exactly pretty good. So watch out for the resistance at 544. If there is a reversal, maybe we can just trying to see if it is like consistent 2 consecutive red candles. Then you buy puts if at all, if there is a rejection. If there is a rejection, it can even gap down all the way to this level. Okay, 492, next resistance for this stock. It is 544. There's the next resistance. If it can break out, it can even go to 600s.
Sure. Last one, CrowdStrike, CRW, WD.
I think I gave a call on this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, crowd is slowly it is if you see slowly it is trying to gap up to 220s and 230, 238, 206 is the first okay, 206 at these zones is the first resistance I call, then 236. Slowly it is trying to break above this cloud, which means that it is a strong bullish to the upside. So I think we have crowd 207, 207, yeah, right at these resistance at I think we have 29th. We have to wait and watch how things will turn out for crowd. This stock also fell almost I would say to the half, fell down from 298 to all the way to 130, and then now it is picking up. So 50% chop up, and now it is slowly and steadily it is coming back up.
Sri, general question.
Mm-hmm.
So do you expect, I mean, the stocks to run like what it did in 2021, like going all the way to abnormal levels? Right. I mean, I think a lot of the stocks were, I mean, just pumped too much. I mean, right. I mean, probably right now they are just finding the right spot. Like UPST, right? For example, UPST went from like $30 to $350
Yep.
I don't think that those levels are sustainable, right?
Oh, I mean, this like I mean, you mean that these stocks are going down and then eventually it will gapping up? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, do you expect these stocks to come back to the levels we had in 2021? Like, I mean, going too high in price? I mean, within the next 6 months, even though we have record inflation and recession and all those things.
No, I think so. What I say is we already market reacts faster than what it is the current. So I think we already priced in some of these trends. So eventually, what I am looking, some of these strong, little be careful with UPST or AFAM. I mean now, see, those stocks are really like not worthy to go to 300s and 400s.
Right, right.
So if you look at UPST, you got to understand that there are some of these stocks are low float stocks. Okay, so low float stock mainly say that. See, if you just look how many shares are outstanding, 84 million shares are outstanding. So average volume is 10 million. So what happens if people trying to buy some of these positions? These are all meme stocks. I trust me, these are all meme stocks. They had some bullish earnings to the hub, but what happened in 2021? If some of the stock did perform okay too, they people are buying left and right.
Okay.
Banks, retail traders, everybody was buying these stocks left and right. This is 84 million. Obviously, this is also more like a game stock. People are not realizing that. They think that, oh, there is something great with this stock. That's the thing. So you got to take a look at the shares outstanding to know whether it's a low float. You have to be very careful with the low float. Last 52 weeks, it has gone up from 23 to 401, which is absurd. But I'm sure definitely people, once they post a very good earnings, this one even going back up. I think sometimes you got to take some a lot of trades on this stock. Hold on to it. See, GameStop still moving up. AMC is still moving up. UPS is still trying to, now it is trying to move up. So now these are all the stocks on the right on this support zone. I would like to hold some buy on some of these stocks also because they have a good potential to gap up as well. To the 10 to 15 20%, we don't know. That's what Affirm too. Affirm, I gave the zones, and what happened, I'll tell you this story. It traded in the couple of zones. So it traded from $16 to $14, all the way to 31, and then they went down, and now they're trying to gap up. So now there is a so some of these stocks trade in these zones. You got to start understanding these zones and then start putting it. I mean, trying to trade these stocks. So you have to understand, okay, what is the support and what is the resistance, and that's it. Once the resistance, take out, wait for the full back, and then eventually, whenever there is a mm, breaking out of the trend. So that's what I keep following, writing some of these trend line channels to just to determine when it is actually breaking out, just to figure out. So right now, Affirm is still good to buy and hold. We have to wait and watch how things shake out the next candle. If the next candle is to the down, it will eventually gap down to all the way to the down levels. So we have to watch closely some of these stocks, and these stocks can also even do perform a lot better. If at all, if you say, Tony, the second half of the 2022 is going to be better, and some of these stocks will continue to perform better. If you see same thing with Affirm, even Affirm is also a low float stock. 285 million, it is still low float comparatively, but UPST went to 176, which we understand. UPST to low float, and it went all the way to 400. So sometimes it is not just actually whatever this Wall Street bets, people just buy it. Even the retail also would be doing this. Uh, Keep buying, and then it will trap all the most of the retail traders.
Yeah,
That's why
if you see the valuation of these companies, they are not worth
they're
$300.
not. No, never. They're not worth. It's all. UPSC still says sell around 17, 17, right? So if you see sell rating, UPST, okay. Now revenue growth. So see, so what happens if they post based on their the initial projections, but they've been performing a lot better. Looking at the percentage of the revenue growth and earnings yield, they may be pretty good to to consider. That's the thing. Some of these, they, I mean, institutes and retail traders, they find out this and then trying to buy the stock. With the hype, the stocks will eventually move up, but you never know. Every quarter they will be performing similar way, and when they're not able to perform, it will just analyst will just short it left and right.
Thank you, Sri.
Sure. Yeah, I believe, I hope this session is useful. Yeah, all this it is just my opinions, and again, it also based on the future earnings, how they perform. Let's see how things turn out. I expect to have a solid positive week this week, and many of this, if at all, if you hold any SPX position, just consistently hold on to it, because that's what I mean. You never know. See, this is a good week to expect some good momentum. So we'll see. I'm also holding a couple of SPX positions. Good luck for all your trades, and if you have any questions, let me know. If not, we can just wrap up here. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Thanks.
yeah, thanks. Thanks everybody joining on the weekend, and have a good week ahead. And thank you. Good night.
Good night. Yeah.
Thank
Thank. Right.
Bye.